Members, the House has resumed. We're on the second reading of the West Coast Windblown Timber Conservation Lands Bill. Before the dinner break, Catherine Delahunty was speaking and has 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Catherine Delahunty.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, why are we here? Why are we here on Thursday night watching the government pretending to be acting in the interests of people and the environment? This is a game bill masquerading as economic pragmatism, unattractive as that would be on its own. So read it and weep. We could be having an authentic and genuine conversation about the West Coast forests. We could be having an authentic and genuine debate about windfalls and about the use of those trees in relation to conservation, in relation to their role in the natural cycle, and we could be debating that properly. We could be talking about the state of the native sawmill industry, which the government has never cared about, but all of a sudden, under urgency, cares about so desperately, even though it will distort the market considerably. We could talk about the place of the West Coast forests in the conservation of the planet. It seems to me, Mr. Speaker, that we forget where we are in the 21st century and we've just leapt back to the 19th. But the people of this country are not leaping back with the government. We will not be able to destroy what people know and care about by some cheap, pragmatic shot. It's not possible for people to forget what they've learned after 27 years of the conservation consensus around not logging on conservation land. It will not be possible to persuade the people of this country that there are no values to protect on the conservation land except expediency. And it will not be possible to persuade people that storm after storm, the job is for the humans to intervene in the natural process and clean it up, somehow miraculously assisting the forests who can't do it on their own. Because nature, of course, doesn't know what she's doing, but God and the government does. Let's intervene and let's make an industry out of a so-called disaster. Now, the planet is changing and we're in the face of the greatest threat to the planet we've ever seen, called climate change. There will be ongoing storms. My own area has just experienced one. And so that's an argument for greater exploitation of the forests that protect us from climate change. That logic is not going to wash. It didn't wash years ago, which is why the people won the argument. It wasn't won in this parliament, it was won by the people of this country. And in the end, we have to win these arguments. We have to recognise yet again that there are still people for whom money is the only and political game, because this isn't even really about the money. This isn't really about jobs. This isn't really about making change. What this is really about is it's election year. And if you want to drive a wedge between people, this was a good manoeuvre. But it does nothing for the status of the Department of Conservation or the status of the agreement that was made in this country to protect the conservation lands. It doesn't add up. And people are not going to forget what happened here and in whose name and why. There is much more to say, but for now I'd just like to acknowledge, as I did at the beginning, many people fought to protect these forests and many people still remember and will fight again.
Call Louise Upston.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very proud to stand and speak in the second reading of the West Coast